Shake here with a new video, this time featuring a tank I've only played a few games in, the Kunze Panzer, which historically was actually nothing more than a prototype on paper. But here in the game is actually a very unique Tier 9 German medium in that it borrows the siege mode right there from the STRV series of tank destroyers that we are familiar with, and of course also the Swedish mediums, but it does it in a different way. The Kunze Panzer has basically what I'd kind of call a snipe and then a brawl mode. The siege mode, when you change it, right now you're in the standard configuration where you have good mobility, good DPM, but a little bit lackluster gun handling, and a little iffy gun depression. I mean, it's claimed 10 over the front, but only over the front. And going the siege mode actually lowers your DPM drastically, but greatly improves the accuracy and the gun depression. So of course I want to get up on the hill, because gun depression is this thing's strong point. And yeah, I'm willing to take a couple hits, and there's a big reason why I run large repair kits, is that I was tracked and took my damage to my ammo rack. One click, you're good to go. But willing to take a couple hits to get up here, because on this map, Tundra, the hill is almost the most crucial spot to control. You can win without it, but it's actually very, very hard. The only way really to win without it would be that you secured everywhere else and you've isolated the enemy team or remnants of it up here. But as you see, chasing away the contesting enemies, and now let's switch back into the mobility. I was actually using the siege mode there, and the Kunze Panzer overall, like I said, I've only got a few games in it, but it has definitely a specific playstyle. As you can see, working the concealment here, edging up and taking shots, and then backing down. And the longer reload, which actually gets up over 10 seconds when you're in this siege mode, and you can still move around decently well. The reload is kind of a way that you can identify, as long as nobody's running CVS. 10 seconds is what it takes for a standard setup to go dark. As in, no CVS, no extra perks. You'll go dark after around 10 seconds. If your reload's over 10 seconds, then that's a good way to judge it. So I'm just crawling around in siege mode here. Again, using the concealment. I outspot the STRV, which is kind of a good praise for this thing, because STRVs are very stealthy. Now I wait for my reload. I don't poke just yet. Now I wait a little bit longer. Now I'll roll up to finish him off. And looked like he was still there, so blind shot for the kill. And now again, crawl up, because I'm looking to see, I know that ammo's still down there, and maybe the 122 TM. And we'll take a look. And sure enough, they're both there. It wasn't me that spotted them, it was actually the CS-52. So now I can snag a kill, back up, because I see an STRV-S1 all the way over there at B4, and that's the spot I use personally to shoot people who are poking the hill. So I'm being mindful of that, because I could easily take another hit here. The Kunze doesn't have any armor to rely on. So far, I think out of my first 5 or 6 games playing it, I've only bounced a couple shots. But one more kill, and at this point I notice I'm sitting on 5 kills. So let's get out of that siege mode and get moving. And I'm going to look to at least snag one more kill, because, you know, new tank, I'd love to get its first Top Gun. So now, key point is I don't like going where our STRV is. That's way up there, and then you have to cross a lot of open ground, and you're coming down from a high open area. So I crossed right through here. This is a little bit lower, a little bit of concealment, and now I notice that they're actually behind that little ridge, so I should be able to run up and over it without them detecting me until I'm literally right here. And there's a top gun. Now let's see what I can do to snag in some late game damage, because the game looks like it's pretty in hand. Actually got a mobility mode hit there. The gun is a little clumsy when you're in this kind of mode where you run around. Like I said, this is kind of the mobility or brawling mode, because most of the time you got to be pretty much right on somebody to land the hit. Not the best ramming vehicle, but I went for it anyways. I think I actually took more damage than he did. That's a light tank a tier lower than me. But that's an LT-432. That thing's just basically a high tier medium disguised as a light tank because it's got a smaller gun. Very good tank itself. Coming in, get the last kill. And of course this was a win. Didn't have to shoot a single bit of premium, and it showcased what the Kunze can do in the right map for it. Turns out that this game, I think it was my 5th game, is an ace. Got the high caliber, got the top gun. Was an overall very efficient game with about 4,500 damage, 500 spotting, so 5,000 combined, 7 kills, and just a nice finish. Just showcase what the Kunze can do. But hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.